Hi guys, and welcome to another video with Xander Freemaker. Today we're talking about Starfield. Now the plan was not to make any more. I made I think 3-4 videos already and I thought, that's enough. But I had to come back just to talk about the premium edition a little bit more, and a little bit more about the bonus pack that we get. But starting off with the premium edition, you get some extras, and of course in my last video I talked about it, but my focus is not on the access to the soundtrack or the a bit of equipment that you get, but more about the expansion pack, which is called Shattered Space. And I've been thinking about it, thinking what this story is about, and I came to the conclusion after putting on my Sherlock Holmes hat and lighting up a pipe. I started to think about this expansion pack, the story of Shattered Space. Now, online there isn't that much about the story, about the expansion pack, but because you get a bonus pack, which is to do with the Mars level, I think I'm beginning to put together a summary or conclusion, or an idea, I think is more accurate, that the first artifact, because the expansion pack is to do with the artifact, and I think very early on in the game, I think that really is what sparks everything off, is you getting that first artifact. And I think that artifact is on Mars. I really think it is. Now I could be wrong, and many of you might say, no, that can't be. I think it is. It's just like, remember, this is a single player RPG. This is not a multiplayer game like Star Citizen. This is your journey, a story. There is a narrative that you have to follow. And of course, you can take your time. So like, for example, if you are mining on one planet, let's say you're on Mars, and you're mining there, and you can just continue to mine and mine and mine and mine and not go to anywhere else for as long as you want, because everything is it's almost like a real-time strategy game, really, in itself. It's not Homeworld, but it is kind of along that kind of path, you could say. And I'm excited about Homeworld 3 coming out in October as well, but that's another video. Anyway, back to this story. So the expansion pack, I think it's to do with finding the first artifact, and I actually believe that this is where people who buy the premium edition will get a hold of the artifact. And what is this artifact? I think it's to do with a gate. It's kind of like going from one end of the galaxy to another. I've seen some animations where you see it, you get a glimpse of how the artifact actually works, and it's only briefly, it's only for a second or two. And the more Bethesda talks about this game, the more breadcrumbs they keep dropping. Whether they do this intentionally or not, no, that's another story. For me personally, I just want to discover everything for myself. But of course, the more information, the more downloads that we get, and I think all the downloads that will come from Bethesda will actually have to do with the artifacts. Now that again is just my own point of view, because spreading the artifacts across the universe, well, there could be many artifacts. We just end up finding, well, in the videos that they have shown, we end up finding one at least. So I believe that the expansion pack has everything to do with finding the first artifact, and I believe it to be on Mars, and that's becoming more clearer and clearer. Now, like I said already, I could be totally wrong, and that's okay. I've got no reservations that I'm not going to sort of like make an apology video, but if I do say, oh sorry, I was wrong, it will be while I'm actually playing the game. So moving on, we already know there are a lot of stories out there by other people giving their version of what they think that this Shattered Space is all about. And what is the predictions. It's okay to do it. I'm doing it right now, so I'm just as guilty. But to be honest with you, it's not really that important, because I think, like any story, you don't want to give it away, you know. But unfortunately, Bethesda has already kind of started dropping a lot of breadcrumbs, more than I think they should, about this DLC. Of course, it's also good news to know that there are going to be a lot more DLCs on the way. So, you better have some deep pockets as far as I'm concerned, because there's going to be quite a few. Are these all DLCs going to be, story based, or more, outfits, equipment? I don't know, but I think it'll probably be both. I recently saw a video by Star Citizen Player where he talked about Starfield, and he said, well, this is what you can't do. Actually, he was referring to the ship leaving the surface to orbit in real time, where Starfield doesn't do that. Well, Starfield cheats on that, whereby it doesn't play an animation which is just already stored in the memory banks. No, it's actually using the surrounding areas of that very planet and then generating an animation in accordance with that, which is, I think, fine and actually pretty nice. I think there's going to be a lot of sequences. I also think that with regards to mining and setting up outposts, I'm not sure if you can set up more than one outpost on one planet. I'm pretty sure you might be able to. The idea is to, if you want to, mine a complete whole planet, whether it be a dead planet or a planet with species on it. Again, I don't know, but I'm hoping that this will be the case, because, to build the ships that you want to build, you're going to need a shitload of money. So there's that. But going back to Shattered Space, I'm really intrigued about it, because this is definitely to do with, like I said already, the artifacts. But how quickly in the game will we find it? Because if you watch the trailers that they launched, and they show you Constellation, okay? They show you the group Constellation, where you go and visit, and they take you there, and they have this discussion about the artifacts, and they ask you, hey, put the artifact down and let's have a look. Well, I'm telling you, and I think they already have a few artifacts already, so they may have already a few artifacts already, so that's interesting, and that is definitely to do with something that happened on Mars for you to get there. And I think the scene where you see the character walk through these kind of elevated objects, and then he sees the artifact, and then he reaches out his hand to touch it, and then something happens. That, I believe, is also on Mars as well. And so I was thinking that it may be on an asteroid, because it did look very asteroid-y, the kind of environment. But of course, you're getting a bonus pack when you pre-purchase the game, and that bonus you get is the Mars equipment, the outfit, the cutting drill, etc, etc, etc. And I believe, again, the outfit that you see in the trailer, where he's in the vicinity of that artifact, is on Mars. And that's my theory. It's just a theory, so don't take my word for it. I don't want to be, bombarded with other hey, if you want to bombard me with other theories, that's great. You can leave a comment below. But that's what I think. And I don't want to drag on this video. I wanted to keep it nice and short. That's my thoughts on Shattered Space. And I think there's going to be a lot of combat as well. Hell of a lot of combat. I think you're going to be facing off maybe with other bad guys who are after the artifact. I think that's going to be something that's going to be a lot of fun. So I think this Starfield's Shattered Space is going to give us a lot. Sorry about that ding in the background. I've just been messaged. That's the missus telling me don't forget to get some milk. So yeah, I'm going to go on an exploration to get some milk from Tesco's in about 20 minutes. Anyway, so what do these artifacts lead to? Well, I've already mentioned about a gate. Yes, I believe it to be a gate, a doorway. To where? And this is what I think. Is it resources? I don't think so. Or is it a way to save Earth? Because in any story where Earth has been destroyed and it's inhabitable, the objective or the narrative of any story, you can see it in movies and books or whatever, it's always, how do we save Earth from dying or revive Earth? Again, this is just my theory. It's speculative at best, but it's not a bad story when you think about it. Again, these are all the breadcrumbs that Bethesda has dropped around, and when you pick up these breadcrumbs and you start putting the dots together, you start to see, well, okay, fine, that's actually not a bad thing. But you know what, like I said before, I don't want to know, I'd like to discover it for myself. But there is one thing I can predict, and this game will take a strain on a lot of relations. And I've said this in one video, you know, I'm planning ahead that when I play this game, I don't want to piss off my partner, because I'm going to be wanting to spend hours upon hours. I can also predict a lot of players will be playing this game all night. All-nighters. No breadcrumbs required. So to summarize, yes, I do believe, and I think everyone will as well, that definitely Shattered Space has to do with the artifacts. Hence the word shattered, because the artifacts are in pieces. Ta-da! So, yeah, that's definitely to do with it. How long this expansion pack game will be, that's another story. It's going to leave heck a lot of clues, but I also believe that every artifact that we find in the future will be actually a DLC. So I'm not saying Bethesda has tricked us or something like that. I'm not going to sort of like say anything like that, but definitely I think now we can predict quite comfortably that this is how it's going to be. You know, you can go around, I mean, the game itself, even if you don't find the artifacts in this game and you've spent, let's say, a year or two playing, it doesn't really matter. Truly, I don't think it does. But of course, it's for those guys or for those players out there who want to really find out the truth. And look, this story is going to be awesome. Okay, I've got no doubt about that in my mind. There's so much sci-fi material out there in the creative universe. And what I mean by creative universe, there's hundreds of movies, there's loads of storybooks, shitload of comics, you know, take your pick. You know, so, you know, we could be spending, I don't know, 5 years maybe, and you'll still won't get all the artifacts. So yeah, this is a big game, and it's a single player RPG, so it's really kind of, you know, like, hey, at your own leisure. I can probably already see players saying, look, you know what, I don't really give a shit about the artifacts, I'm just going to continue doing exploration everywhere where I go. And then maybe one day, you know, when there's loads of downloads and it goes off on a discount bundle or something like that off Steam, which it will, by the way, then they'll probably download it and then just clean up shop. And of course, we'll be making those videos, so players like myself and thousands of other players like myself will get the download when it comes, and they'll play it, and of course we'll record it, post it on YouTube, and then whoever wants to just go through it, they can just watch them. And so yeah, that's my thoughts. Anyway, I think that's enough for now. I think I'm gonna leave the rest to you guys to leave comments below. Tell me what your thoughts are. If you think I'm wrong, please tell me. I got no qualms about that. And if there's other ideas or theories you have, please, you know, like leave a note in the description. Sorry, leave a note in the comment section, and I'll read them all. I read all the comments that come to me anyway. So until next time, ciao for now. Oh, and please don't forget to subscribe. We're getting close to our 100 mark, so help us push us over the line. See you soon.